In this video, we're going to take a look at editing and sharing a form that we previously created. The first thing you need to do is locate the form in your drive list. Remember, the form icon is green. It has 2 dots and 2 lines, kind of looks like a multiple choice question. Go ahead and open your form. Now, the form itself doesn't actually open. What opens is a spreadsheet that is associated with the form. Remember, anytime you create a form, a spreadsheet is also created. And it's the spreadsheet that's going to hold the data when your users submit the form. And you can see here, we've already had a couple of users submit this form. So let's take a look at how we can go about editing this form. If you go to the Form menu, we can go down to Edit Form. And this will open up your form where you can then go ahead and make changes. So let's say we wanted to rearrange questions on our form. Maybe we want these true and false questions to be above the short answer question. To do that, you're going to move your cursor over the question until you see this 4-headed drag and drop arrow. Then you're going to click and drag the question to a new location, and that will reverse those 2 questions. If you made a mistake, you want to delete an answer, a choice, or if you misspelled something, you can go ahead and edit the question. When you hover your cursor over the question, you'll see that you get 3 editing tools. The pencil will allow you to go in and edit, make changes if you misspelled a word, if you want to add another column, if you want to change the question type. The 2 squares will allow you to duplicate this question. So if you want to ask a series of this type of question, you can simply duplicate it and then change the question and the answers rather than having to create a new question each time. And if you decide that you no longer want this question on the quiz, you can use the trash can to delete it. If you've made any changes, you want to be sure that you remember to click Done to save that question. Also in forms, you need to look in the upper right-hand corner and make sure that the form is saved after you make any changes, so we'll go ahead and click the Save button there. To go to the live form to see your changes, you want to come down here to this blue link in the bottom where it says you can view the published form here, and click on that, and that will open up your form so that you can see the changes that you made. We'll go ahead and close that, and we'll go back to our spreadsheet. Now we can see that we already have a couple of people have answered our questions. And we want to take a look at this first column here, this timestamp column. Now, I did not add that on my quiz, so how did that get to on my spreadsheet? Well, anytime you create a form, the first column in your spreadsheet is always going to be this timestamp column, and Google just does that. And this makes it really nice because you can see the exact time and date that this form was submitted. So if you're working on a deadline and everybody has to have their form submitted by a certain time, you can easily see that here on this with this timestamp column. The next thing we're going to look at is how we can share the form so that people can take our quiz or take our survey. Now, this share button here will actually share this spreadsheet. So that's not what we want to do when we want people to actually answer our quiz questions. There's a couple of different ways that you can share the form. If you go back to Form and go to Edit Form, you will see an option to email this form. If I click on this, I am going to be able to add email addresses of people that I want to send the form to. This is tied to the NPSNE directory, so as soon as you start typing a person's name, their name is going to pop up on the list, and you can simply click on it to select it. You can also choose from your contacts if you have contacts already built into your mailing list. You have an option to include the form in the email, and this will put a copy of the form in the email, and then people can simply answer the questions right there in the email and submit the form. Now, sometimes email packages block out that kind of content, so a lot of times I will uncheck that, and then instead they will be given a link. They will click on the link to open the form, and then they can answer the form. So we can go ahead and send that. Another way that you can share the form with people is simply by giving them the address to the form. So I went into the live form, and if I just copy this address using my favorite method, Control-C, right-click copy, I can paste this address into an email and share it that way. Another option you have is to actually embed the form into a blog or a web page, and we'll look at that option in a different video.